Yo, what is good, YouTube? Welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, we're going to be ranking the best shooting guards in NBA 2K26 MyTEAM here on this tier list. We got a list of, I think, about 50 of the best shooting guards in the game. I'm going to be ranking right up until Trace and Murray. Everybody else in this list is a hidden gem. I don't want to include the hidden gems because there's no real guaranteed way to get any of them, but everybody else you can get in some sort of guaranteed way. So we're including the rest of them on this list. I would make my own tier list, but I'm instead using Evan's because 2KDB is not currently letting me look at all players, so I can't even go get the screenshots of all the shooting guards to make my own tier list. So we got this one here instead, which is going to work nonetheless. Shout out to Evan for this tier list, appreciate it. That being said, first card on the list is J.R. Smith. We're going to go pretty quick because we got 50 cards on this list or so to rank. It's going to take a bit. So J.R., look, the honest truth is he's just not that great defensively. He's got decent size, his jumper's okay, his slashing is great, but he's not that good defensively, and it just kind of makes him overall a bit mediocre. I don't know a lot about Lamond Murray. There are a few cards on this list that I just don't know a lot about. Lamond Murray happens to be one of them. He's got pretty good all-around stats, I will say. He's 6'7" with a 6'8" wingspan. Not a bad looking card in terms of overall completeness at the position. Kind of basic animations, but KD's escape isn't bad. He's got quite behind the back too, and pro dribble style. This is a pretty good card, honestly. When you look at the better shooting guards on some of the better shooting guards in the game, I would say Lamond Murray is definitely one of the more like pretty solid options at the shooting guard position in terms of overall completeness animation wise. Pretty decent jumper. I don't think default swing is crazy, but it's good enough, and pretty good SIGs too is a nice little plus. So not a bad card there. D-Book's got awesome animations, but unfortunately the stats do kind of fail him. He's not great. I will keep him at a D tier, but I don't think he stays at a C. Jerry Stackhouse has no defense either. He has a okay jumper, great slashing, and good speed, but unfortunately doesn't play much defense. So that card also I think is statistically lacking. Reggie Lewis isn't bad, but he's not great. He's one of those guys who I think in terms of a diamond is not an extremely complete diamond, only a 783 3 ball, but a great slasher, decent, pretty well-rounded defender, not bad speed-wise, 6'7" with a 6'8" wingspan and a pretty okay jumper. Like overall, I wish the 3-ball rating was higher, but not a bad card. I don't know if I would go B, or it's kind of tough because some of these cards left in the, I mean, there's a lot of cards in this list that I don't think are that great, so maybe I need to be a little more generous. I'm gonna go low A for Reggie Lewis. I might even move Lamond Murray to S. That card's not bad, but I don't love the default swing. That's the only thing about that card. Cam Thomas, I think Cam Thomas has to go pretty darn low on this list, unfortunately. The problem with Cam Thomas is that Cam is what, 6'3" at shooting guard. That is a very undersized shooting guard. You combine that with not great athletic ability and not great defense, and you get a card who just kind of only gives you speed and shooting, you know what I mean, for the most part. Not great slasher, non-existent defender at 6'3". It's like, to me, that's a no-go. That's my opinion. Kelly Oubre has a pretty good jumper, but isn't going to be great defensively, isn't going to be great offensively as an overall card. Good enough to maybe go, I'm actually going to go D tier for Oubre as well. I don't think that card's that great. Scotty's best shooting guard in the game, no doubt about it. Best #1 for sure. Easy S tier. I don't even need to explain that one. Has great animations, great SIGs, great size, great release, great fade, great everything. Best card in the game, arguably, is Scottie Pippen. Mikal Bridges is awesome defensively, which will give me enough because I'm being generous to go B tier here. I don't like his jumper, but we're early enough in the year and a lot of these cards aren't that strong. I do think that Mikal Bridges is a pretty darn solid defender, if nothing else, even if he's not the most elite of an offensive card, and I think he absolutely is good enough, at least, to get himself a decent spot on this list. B tier feels fair. Rip Hamilton's a fine 3 and D. I would say like low B or high C is probably a fair spot for Rip Hamilton. Not a spectacular at all special card, but a guy who's going to be, I mean, we can look at the stats, probably like mid 80s across the board, some 90s on the defensive end of the court. Actually not a 64 interior and 81 speed. And wow, okay, I was wrong. This card is actually going to go in the C tier. I'm not a big fan of that Rip Hamilton. I thought that card was going to be better than he is. T-Mac does not have defense. Offensively, it is a 6'8" shooting guard, but that T-Mac is not one of the better T-Mac cards we've seen in recent years. Obviously, he has higher tier cards that will be better, but realistically, an Amethyst T-Mac, 84 speed, 83 ball, 85 driving dunk, but not much defense. Not an incredible stat line across the board, really, in all honesty. Just a card who's kind of there, you know what I mean? Nothing particularly special, in my opinion. Next up, you got Grant Hill, who is actually pretty special. 6'8", decent SIGs, pretty good jumper. Card's really, really nice. I've heard very, very good things about Grant Hill. I think he's definitely one of those guys who has the potential to be one of the best options in the game at the shooting guard position. 6'8", just rare as a good wild gems card, but definitely a very solid card. Gus Gerard is 6'8" with a decent jumper, but doesn't play much defense at all. I think I'll go B tier. ML Carr's a 3 and D stud with a really really just solid jumper and actually legitimately great defense. That's a card that I think is absolutely A tier. Very, very good. Billy Owens, 6'8", good jump shot, actually 6'9", Pro 2 fade, good jump shot and good slashing. I actually think I'm going to go S tier for that card. We got about 36 more on the list. We already have 3 S tiers. That does feel like a lot, but I don't think there's that many S tiers left. This Pippin card is a pure 3&D version of this Pippin, not nearly as good statistically, badge wise, shooting wise, anything wise, but good enough to still go B tier and be above the C tier. Not even close to the Pink Diamond. They're not even in the same ballpark as overall cards, but at the same time I will still go B tier for Ruby Scotty. Katino Mobley, bad jumper on an undersized shooting guard who's not that good defensively. That is an absolute no-go for me. Clyde Drexler just doesn't have the complete enough stats and badges to be an elite level option. Jalen Rose's jumper is pretty ugly, but stats and badges should be pretty good and is 6'8". Is that enough with an ugly jumper to be a, nah, with these badges it's not. I'm actually going to go C tier for Jalen Rose. I don't think I want that card either. Kawhi, pure defense puts him in B tier, very similarly to Scottie Pippen. He's nowhere close to his Pink Diamond, but he's good enough to be B tier still nonetheless. Very, very solid card. Billy Knight's really good. Another guy who probably could be argued as borderline S tier, I'd say. I mean, just pretty, a little under, I'm going to go A because he's only 6'5", but he's got good jumper, like really nice animations, pretty good stats and badges all the way around. That's a good card. I am going to go A though because he's only 6'5". Paul George, kind of a budget beast. Again, one of those guys who's a little bit underpowered in terms of the stats and the badges just slightly, but is going to have a good jump shot, good slashing, solid defense, good size, always a nice well-rounded option. Another 3&D stud in Michael Cooper in the A tier, another guy who pretty similarly to like an ML Carr or somebody like that is a solid option on the defensive end of the court and has a good jump shot offensively as well. Another card who I think is definitely a pretty good card to potentially use. Outside of that, who is next? Malik Sealy has an absolutely awesome jumper. He's not great defensively, but he is good offensively with a good jump shot. I feel like another budget solid option, low-key borderline A, but I'm gonna go B for Malik Sealy as well. Doug West is okay. I'm gonna go low B for Doug West. I think this is a card who just isn't quite as badged as you'd probably like as an overall shooting guard, and I will say only has like a 79 3 ball as well, which is a bit on the lower end. Obviously that's not exactly what you're looking for. Has okay speed, little bit of interior, some good gold badges and stuff, and good athleticism with a good jump shot, but missing some key badges too, shooting badges, interceptor, on ball menace, pick dodger, stuff like that. Like the card is missing some stuff, and I do think that holds him back at least a bit. I think he's okay, but I wouldn't go higher than B tier, honestly. Dominique Wilkins, 6'8", with a pretty good jumper and great slashing, but almost no badges at all. I think I got to go C tier for that card. He's just not good enough overall, in my opinion. Wiggins is going to be our 4th S tier. I think Wiggins is really good. 6'7", good jump shot, good size, good versatility, great slashing ability, and good defense as well. I think a really well-rounded option at the shooting guard position. Herb Jones is yet another one of those budget 3&Ds with guys like Kawhi and Pippen, where he's going to guard and he's got a good jump shot. That's about all he has, but that's enough to be a useful card and a B tier option. Jimmy's another S tier. He's still the 2nd best shooting guard in the game. He is not on Pippen's level at all, and he's also extremely rare right now, but I do know that he is a very good card, so I do think he's an S tier guy without a shadow of a doubt. Dennis Scott I think is 6'8", but I don't believe does much in terms of defense. I will check that real quickly because this is another one of those cards that I'm not 100% confident about, but yes, great shooter, not much of a slasher or a defender or a playmaker, honestly. Card is pretty much just a shooter, basic dribble style as well. You know what? I'm actually going Dennis Scott in C tier. It's pure shooting. That's not going to cut it. Franz Wagner, A tier, switchable defender who actually moves pretty well, has a decent jumper. I know his defensive stats aren't crazy, but he's 6'10" at shooting guard, and his jumper's good. That's useful. It's a valuable skill set for sure. Very good card for Franz. Raj is another super nice 3&D who's also got Pro 2. This card's very expensive because of being necessary for I think either Shea or Pippen, I forget which one, but he is extremely good if you do find a way to get your hands on him. Dr. J, animation wise, is awesome. Stat and badge wise, not so much. I'll put him low B. The stats and the animations are going to kind of carry the card with a good behind the back and a good jump shot and stuff like that, but he's still a B tier. Batum, if he had a better jumper, would be so much higher, but his jumper is really ugly, so I actually think he's B tier as well. He'd be like an A or even maybe S tier option with a Pro 2 fade and good stats and badges and stuff if he had a better jumper, and he's got good size too, but unfortunately the jumper just isn't good enough. So to me, I think you got to go B tier with Batum as well. Rudy Fernandez I have not looked at all. I assume his card's not that good this early early in the year. Probably not super strong at all defensively. Mostly, I would assume just like a decent slasher or a very good slasher and a solid shooter. And that's probably going to be, again, probably a C tier guy, I would have to think, if my assumption on the stats and badges is correct. And yeah, the defense is just not even close. I think even C tier might be a little bit generous with that hideous of defense. Probably not a card that I personally would want to run. Speaking of C tier, because of bad something, DeMar DeRozan, bad jump shot. That is not what you're looking for at all from a diamond shooting guard, is the jump shot that DeRozan has. Not a fan of that card either, in my opinion. Bogdan, great shooter, not much else though. He's not going to be special defensively. He's just an underwhelming, pretty mediocre card all the way around. I am going to move a couple guys down to D tier to even it out. Shave Silas also is a D tier. It's a 6'1" shooting guard. Like, are we kidding? I don't even think I need to really explain that one. Doug Christie has Pro 2 fade and a very good release as a 6'6" shooting guard while having half on ball menace. This card's one of the best budget cards in my team. He only like 40 or 50k right now. Not bad at all for an extremely solid shooting guard option. Bradley Beal's a really good scorer, but is only 6'4". Is okay defensively with a couple badges added, especially is pretty good. I'll go low A. Don't think I'd go higher than that, but I did like that Beal card week 1 for sure. Manu's another one who has bad animations, bad stats, and bad badges. Just not a good card early in the year. Jeff Malone moves awesome, but is only like 6'3", 6'4", so that does kind of hold him back a little bit despite having what is legitimately very solid movement, but I think I'd go C tier for him. Mo Pizza, knockdown shooter, again, kind of does nothing else, doesn't provide elite size or defense or anything like that, so again, kind of just mid C tier. JJ Redick is 6'3" with a jumper that's not that great and does nothing well besides shoot, so that's a pass for me. SGA just doesn't have the stats and badges to compete. That's why I put D-Book down as well. Just is not complete enough at this point in the year. Nick Young is kind of awesome offensively and pretty solid defensively. More badges than you'd expect. That card is legitimately an A tier option. He's damn good. Brandon Roy, another probably not quite S tier, but very close. 6'6", good jump shot, solid defense, good stats, good badges. Don't think he's S either though. Clay is going to be in our last S tier, I do believe. You know who's not on this list is Bruce Bowen. I just realized. How is Bruce Bowen not on this list? Oh, Bruce Bowen is on the, oh, I guess Bruce Bowen's a hidden gem. I'm going to include Bruce Bowen because everybody got Bruce Bowen from their level 37 pack. So a lot of people have this card despite him being a hidden gem. He's also S tier. I know a lot of people had him. He is an absolute no-brainer S tier. I think he's probably better than Clay. He's cracked. Corey Maggette, Pro 2 fade, good jump shot. Has a diamond too, who's not on this list. The diamond would be A. This Maggette is probably B. Decent jumper, or actually good jumper, great fade, but not awesome defensively, at least on that card. Dewana Bonner, worse Bradley Beal. Loki has pretty good stats and badges, but only 6'4", kind of meh. And then Tracy Murray is all shooting and not much else. Not a lot of defense or athletic ability or anything like that. So with that being said, that is all of the non-hidden gems, including one hidden gem with Bruce Bowen on this list. Y'all let me know what y'all think of this tier list in the comment section down below. If you did enjoy the video, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon, and I appreciate y'all. Peace.